Stuck in an elevator for 40 minutes. I already had my last words figured out. I called my CEO girlfriend several times, but she didn't pick up. Not until my phone died. But then, I heard her voice coming from the phone of another man trapped in here with me. My girlfriend's gentle, soothing voice filled the elevator car, reaching everyone's ears. Don't be scared, Cody. Press all the floor buttons. The maintenance crew is on their way. I'm leaving the office right now. You'll see me the second you get out. Victoria's voice echoed clearly in the small elevator. It also echoed in my heart, where a tidal wave was crashing down, extinguishing everything. I stared at my black phone screen, my heart clenching painfully. The same number that went unanswered for me just minutes ago was now connected for another man. I didn't have time to wonder why. I heard the man say to her, his voice choked with tears, Victoria, I'm so scared. Am I going to die? I'm only 22. I don't want to die. I still want to marry you, to be your husband. Cody was shaking so badly he couldn't hold the phone, so he had it on speaker. He was crouched on the floor, pouring his heart out to the person on the other end. Through the speaker, I could clearly hear a sharp intake of breath, followed by the sound of running. Victoria must be worried sick. Then came the sounds of her telling her assistant to get all rescue personnel to the scene, maintenance, the fire department, even an ambulance. After arranging everything, Victoria didn't forget to comfort the young man. Silly Cody, don't say such things. You're gonna live a long, long life. I'm here. Don't be afraid. Someone will get you out soon. I'm here, so don't worry. Her steady, strong voice gave the other trapped passengers a sense of security. Everyone relaxed a little, except for me. My body began to tremble uncontrollably. My eyes turned red in an instant. I'd been with Victoria for 5 years, and she'd always been the perfect girlfriend. She always kept a proper distance from other men. She had impeccable boundaries. Even my best friend, Jax, who has impossibly high standards for women, had to admit that Victoria was a genuinely good person. As her boyfriend, I'd always felt completely secure. But between her recent strange behavior and this phone call, I think I was starting to understand. The love she had for me was real, but I guess the fact that she doesn't love me anymore is real, too. I clenched my jaw, forcing myself to stay silent and not interrupt this tender call, fighting the urge to tear apart her hypocritical facade. The man to my right noticed I wasn't okay. He quietly asked if I was scared. I shook my head. I didn't realize that my face was as pale as a sheet. I was visibly weak. The man thought I was terrified and put his hand over mine, which was gripping the railing. He also seemed to notice my phone was dead. Couldn't call my family. He pulled a power bank out of his bag and offered it to me. When I just stared at it, not taking it, he proactively plugged my phone in himself. Here, just in case. I knew what he meant. If the worst happened, I could make one last call to say goodbye. The phone didn't turn on immediately. My attention drifted back to the man on the phone with Victoria. Cody. That must be the Cody I'd heard Victoria mention a few days ago. That night, I came home from work to find Victoria on the balcony, on the phone. As I got closer, I heard her say in an annoyed tone, Dad, stop setting me up on these so-called blind dates. And that includes Cody. I only see him as a little brother. That night, I'd felt a pang of sympathy for her, thinking about all the pressure she was under for our relationship, even defying her family to be with me. The Cody in front of me must be the Vance family's preferred son-in-law. Everything he wore, from head to toe, was clearly custom-made from a top designer brand. From his haircut to his leather shoes, he exuded the air of someone who had been pampered his whole life. Not like me, a book-smart kid from a small town who had only gotten a chance to brush shoulders with a wealthy family like the Vances through my family's support and my own sheer effort. Suddenly, the elevator lurched. Then it dropped again. Everyone inside screamed in terror. Luckily, it didn't plummet all the way to the bottom. It stopped on the 8th floor. Everyone's heart was pounding, threatening to beat out of their chests. Besides me and Cody, there was a couple and another man and woman I didn't know. The elevator had finally stopped, but we all knew it was temporary. This was the second time it had dropped since we got stuck. After the elevator first malfunctioned on the 15th floor, the building management arrived quickly and tried to pry the doors open. But right as they were doing that, the elevator suddenly dropped from the 15th floor to somewhere between the 12th and 13th. People who had been relatively calm were now genuinely panicking. The position was too dangerous for the maintenance crew to rescue us. We had to wait for the professional elevator rescue team and the fire department. After the second drop, the people outside the elevator were on edge too. On the other end of the phone, Victoria heard the commotion and slammed her foot on the gas, running several red lights. I could even hear the tremor in her voice as she tried to soothe a sobbing Cody. "Cody, don't be scared. I'm almost there. Just wait for me. Okay?" Cody had completely lost it. He just kept crying, "Victoria, save me. Victoria, save me." The couple in the elevator held each other tightly. The man next to me gripped my hand. He pressed closer, as if seeking comfort from my presence. The woman standing alone saw Cody still crouched on the floor and, after a moment's thought, helped him up. It's dangerous to squat. It's safer to bend your knees slightly and hold the handrail. For a moment, nobody said a word. We were all tense, scared, and terrified. The couple started recording last words into their phone. The man next to me was typing furiously on his phone. The woman, who was holding Cody up, couldn't type, so she started calling her family members one by one. The man saw that my phone had turned on but that I wasn't doing anything. He cautiously asked if I needed help. I gave him a grateful smile and was about to shake my head. But I didn't want to refuse a stranger's kindness. Before I could speak, I heard Cody ask into the phone again, "Victoria, if I make it out of this alive, will you marry me?" With the woman supporting him, Cody seemed to have pulled himself together a bit. He thought this was the perfect opportunity to make Victoria realize how important he was to her. If something happened to him, wouldn't she regret turning down the marriage alliance? Cody wanted an answer from Victoria. Everyone fell silent, as if waiting for the answer from the other end of the line. Only I was opening my call history with a trembling hand. My eyes were so blurry with tears that I kept tapping the wrong spot, unable to hit the call button. My chest ached as if a giant hand were squeezing it. I finally managed to dial the number saved as my love. When Cody didn't get an answer from Victoria, he raised his voice, his tone turning whiny. "Victoria, you won't even marry me if I'm about to die? If that's the case, then don't even bother coming to save me. Just let me fall with this elevator and die." Cody was throwing a tantrum, spewing angry words. My phone was still dialing. It automatically hung up. No one answered. Then, from Cody's phone, I heard Victoria's answer. "Okay." In that moment, my eyes flew open. I thought I heard something shatter. Couldn't breathe. I started gasping for air. The man pressed against me noticed something was wrong. He even had a fleeting thought that my strange behavior was connected to the woman on Cody's phone. But he quickly dismissed it, chiding himself for watching too much TV. The man gently patted my back, trying to help me calm down. But I didn't know what was happening to me. I just felt like the most important support structure inside me had crumbled. All I could hear was that single word, "Okay," echoing in my head. Victoria was going to marry Cody. Cody was going to marry Victoria. And what about me? Should I slap Cody across the face and demand to know what the hell was going on with Victoria? Or should I scream at Cody, calling him a shameless homewrecker for getting between us, then spit in Victoria's face for being a cheater, break up with her, and tell them they were perfect for each other? I used to think I was the kind of person who could let things go. I remember bragging to my roommates back in college, puffing out my chest and declaring, if my girlfriend ever cheats on me, I'll slap her a few times and kick her to the curb. Get that filthy trash away from me. To this day, I can still picture my younger self, so naive yet so ridiculously confident. So how is it that now, when faced with Victoria's betrayal so suddenly, I was just numb, completely unable to think? I opened my mouth, wanting to say something, but my throat was so raw I couldn't get a single word out. So this is what it feels like to be betrayed by the person closest to you. Inside, I was roaring, a tidal wave of emotion crashing over me. But on the outside, my face was a placid mask. Only the man beside me noticed something was deeply wrong. It was the first time he'd ever seen a man who was standing right in front of him, perfectly fine, yet looked like he was about to shatter into a million pieces. The man held my hand tightly, offering silent comfort. When Cody heard Victoria say she'd marry him, he nearly jumped for joy. Thankfully, the woman holding him kept him steady. Still, his movement caused the elevator to sway. Fortunately, it didn't drop again. Cody noticed the resentful glares from the others but didn't care. He was still basking in the joy of Victoria agreeing to marry him. Victoria, a promise is a promise. You said you'd marry me. You can't take it back. Okay? Victoria didn't answer. I heard a car door slam on her end. She must have arrived. She got here so fast. It's an hour's drive from the Vance Corporation headquarters to here, but Victoria made it in about half an hour. She must have been frantic. So frantic she didn't have the presence of mind to answer my calls. So frantic she forgot she had a boyfriend. So frantic that, without even breaking up with me, she promised to marry another man. Looking at Cody's blissful, happy face, I couldn't help but think back to our 3rd year together. My dad found out I'd been dating Victoria for 3 years. He called and asked if I had any plans to get married. After all, I wasn't getting any younger. The older generation always seems to want their children to get married, have kids, and start a family. I had wanted a few more years of just the two of us. But after hanging up with my dad, I still brought it up with Victoria in a joking way. My dad said I'm not getting any younger and asked when I was going to give him a grandchild to spoil. The look on Victoria's face was a kind of panic I'd never seen before. I'm not an idiot. Seeing her reaction, my heart sank. Under my persistent questioning, Victoria dropped a bombshell on me. She was the heiress to the Vance Corporation. I was stunned silent. I met Victoria at an industry bidding conference. She said it was love at first sight and kept an eye on me at every industry event where we might run into each other. She somehow got my contact info and started pursuing me. I was a department manager. She was a department supervisor. I always thought we were on the same level, equals moving forward together. And yet, she was telling me she was a corporate heiress. Her parents wanted to groom her, so they had her hide her identity and start from the bottom at their company. During our entire relationship, Victoria never once revealed her true identity. If I hadn't jokingly brought up the topic of marriage, would she have kept it a secret forever? If I had known who she was when she started pursuing me, I never would have said yes. But there are no do-overs in life. We had already been together for 3 years. 3 years over 1,000 days and nights. Victoria and I were perfectly in sync. We had the same interests, liked the same things, and could tell what the other was thinking with just a glance. We had incredible chemistry. I had fallen deeper and deeper into a relationship that was built on a lie from the very beginning. I still remember the sigh my dad let out when I told him who Victoria really was. I didn't understand why he sighed back then, but I do now. In our 4th year together, Victoria told me her parents wanted her to marry someone from a family of similar social standing. In our 5th year, the Vance family started arranging blind dates for her. And today, I finally understood. Some things can't be faced with naive optimism. The rescue team is downstairs. Everyone, don't worry. We'll have you out soon. An excited shout came from outside the elevator. The building manager was on the other side of the door, constantly reassuring us. While waiting for the rescue, everyone's heart had been in their throat. Hearing the manager's words, we all breathed a sigh of relief. At that moment, my head was spinning. I don't know if it was the thin air in the elevator, or the shock from Victoria and Cody. I felt like I was about to collapse. The man next to me put his arm around my shoulder, supporting me. I was grateful to him. Just as I felt like I was about to pass out, a voice shot through me like a bolt of lightning. Cody, Cody, I'm here. Don't be afraid. The rescue team is here. You'll be out in a minute. That familiar voice, that worried tone, it was Victoria. Her voice was right outside the elevator door, yet it felt a million miles away. My hand gripped the arm of the man beside me, so tightly it must have hurt his wrist. But he didn't pull away. Instead, he placed his other hand on my shoulder, giving me as much comfort as he could. The professional rescue team arrived at the same time as Victoria. They took out their equipment and began the rescue operation. But disaster struck in an instant. When Cody heard Victoria's voice, he was overjoyed. He had been standing at the back of the elevator, but he immediately ran to the door, banging on it and yelling, "Victoria! Victoria! You're finally here! I've been waiting for you!" The elevator was already precariously stuck on the 8th floor. Cody's frantic movements caused it to drop again. By some miracle, it only fell 1 floor this time, stopping on the 7th. The maintenance crew, the rescue team, and everyone else waiting outside scrambled down the emergency stairwell to the 7th floor. Victoria's face was ashen. She was so nervous she ripped the silk scarf from her neck and threw it on the ground. Her eyes were glued to the elevator doors. She didn't forget to gently soothe Cody. "Cody, are you okay? Just stand still, don't move. The rescuers will have the door open in a second. Be good and stay put. I'm right here waiting for you. I'm not going anywhere." This time, because of Cody's recklessness, everyone had another brush with death. All eyes in the elevator were fixed on him with fury. The couple didn't hold back. "Are you fucking crazy? If you want to die, do it somewhere else. Yelling and screaming, you sound like a damn dying duck. Why don't you wait until we're out to go find your mother duck and start quacking again? You never shut up. A hen laying an egg makes less noise than you." Cody was annoyed. He rubbed his arm, which he'd bumped when he lost his balance. He wanted to snap back, but seeing the hateful stares from everyone in the elevator, he swallowed his anger. As for me, my body felt numb. It was as if I'd already accepted Victoria's concern and affection for Cody. The elevator doors were finally pried open. Cody, who was standing by the door, was the first one out. The couple followed right behind him. I tried to move but found my legs had gone numb. I gave the man supporting me a gentle push, wanting him to go first. But he held me firmly and helped me walk out slowly. The woman followed behind us, her hands hovering near our backs as if to steady us. Outside, everyone was filled with the joy of survival. Only I was completely numb. My eyes were fixed on one spot, unblinking. The man followed my gaze. Cody was clinging to a beautiful woman, crying pitifully. The woman was patting his back with one hand and gently stroking his hair with the other. She was murmuring something softly to him. My tears finally began to fall, silent and steady. 1 drop, then 2. They blurred my vision. Victoria's face gradually became a stranger's in my mind. Suddenly, from a distance, someone anxiously called my name. "Leo." I turned my head. When I saw who it was, I mumbled, "Olivia, you're here." Then, everything went black, and I passed out. Victoria was in the middle of comforting Cody when she suddenly heard someone call my name. Her mind went blank. She lifted her head mechanically, searching for me. The moment her eyes landed on me, she saw me collapse into another woman's arms. My face was terrifyingly pale. Even from a distance, she could see my dry, chapped lips. Victoria watched as I was carried downstairs like a broken doll. My lifeless hand dangled at my side. The sight pierced her heart. "Leo, what are you doing here?" Victoria whispered, her lips trembling. But no one could answer her. Victoria suddenly remembered the calls I'd made to her. She didn't dare think any further. Her heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife, the pain so intense she couldn't breathe. The realization that she was about to lose something precious made her eyes well up. Cody noticed Victoria's strange behavior and thought she was just reacting to the stress of his ordeal. He was secretly thrilled. He never thought Victoria cared about him this much. "Victoria, I'm fine now. See? I'm perfectly okay. Let's get married when we get back. Okay?" Cody lifted his head from her embrace, a shy but loving look on his face. Victoria's blank mind snapped back to reality. She shoved Cody away with all her strength. Caught off guard, Cody fell to the ground. "Victoria, why did you push me?" he yelled in disbelief. Victoria was in a complete panic. All she could see was my pale, weak face, an image she couldn't shake. She turned to run for the stairs. She had to check on me and she had to apologize. Cody scrambled up from the floor and blocked her path. Victoria's brow furrowed in frustration. Cody, get out of my way. Cody couldn't seem to accept her sudden change in attitude and just kept shaking his head. Victoria, you just promised you'd marry me. Why? Hearing the word marriage, Victoria ran a hand over her face in exasperation. Cody, I only said that because I thought you were about to die. I was just trying to comfort you so you wouldn't die with any regrets. The only person I've ever loved is Leo. With that, Victoria pushed past Cody and raced down the stairs. She left Cody standing there, stunned. Everyone present had witnessed the entire scene. The few of us who had been trapped in the elevator and survived exchanged a look. They had just gotten a front row seat to some seriously juicy drama. Before I was fully conscious, the smell of antiseptic told me I was in a hospital. My old classmate, Olivia, was listening as a doctor explained what to watch out for. She would occasionally interject with questions, like whether I needed to avoid certain foods or if I could eat fruit. Olivia was always that thoughtful. From our school days to now, she had always looked after me like a warm, caring older sister. I slowly opened my eyes and looked toward the voices. Olivia noticed I was awake immediately. She hurried to my side, her eyes filled with concern. Leo, you're finally awake. Are you feeling uncomfortable anywhere? After asking, she had the doctor check me over again. She only relaxed after the doctor confirmed there was nothing seriously wrong. The doctor told me to get some rest and left the room. Olivia sat by the bed and started peeling an apple. Leo, I'm so sorry. I should have come to find you sooner. Don't be scared. It's all over now. Olivia only knew that I'd been trapped in an elevator in a life-or-death situation. She didn't know I'd also witnessed my girlfriend's betrayal. The double blow of a near-death experience and seeing my relationship shatter, combined with days of overtime on a project without proper rest, had pushed my body to its limit. The sudden shock was what made me pass out. Before I could say anything, Victoria burst in, frantic and out of breath. She was covered in sweat, the sleeves of her jacket hastily rolled up. She had lost all of her usual refined composure. The moment Victoria saw me, her eyes turned red. Olivia handed me the peeled apple, then thoughtfully stepped out of the room, leaving us space to talk. But before she left, she added, I'll be right outside the door. Just yell if you need anything. Victoria paid her no mind. She sat down by the bed and tried to take my hand, but I pulled it away. A flash of hurt crossed Victoria's face. Then she gave a bitter laugh and started to explain. I'm sorry, Leo. Her voice was incredibly hoarse. I didn't know you were in there too. There's nothing going on between me and Cody. Leo, you have to believe me. It was strange. I thought that when I saw Victoria, I would be overwhelmed with grief and emotion, that I would break down and demand answers. I thought I'd ask her if her heart had changed, if she didn't love me anymore. But now, with a clear head, watching Victoria repent in front of me, I felt nothing at all. Victoria said a lot. I just listened quietly, occasionally taking a bite of the apple. Victoria looked wounded. Leo, can you please just say something to me? I know I was wrong. Please, can you give me a chance? By the time she finished, I had finished the entire apple. I said my first words to her since she'd entered the room. I need to rest. Can you please leave? I saw Victoria's body visibly stiffen. She stared at my eyes in disbelief. Her expression was almost funny. What had I done to wrong her? Victoria couldn't find any trace of love in my eyes. She couldn't seem to accept the change in me. She gripped my hand tightly and begged in a low voice, Leo, I really know I was wrong. Please give me one chance to make it up to you. In the elevator, Victoria closed her eyes in pain, and when she opened them again, they were bloodshot. In the elevator, I only said that because I was afraid something would really happen to Cody. His family and mine are old friends, and it was a life-or-death situation. I was just trying to calm him down. Hearing her mention the elevator still brought a pang of sadness. To face the betrayal of the one you love most while in the terrifying grip of a near-death experience. I didn't want to remember, but the memories flooded my mind, reminding me again and again. Tears started to stream down my face involuntarily. Victoria gently wiped them away, her touch careful and hesitant. Then, She dropped to her knees and slapped herself hard across the face. Twice. Leo, I know I broke your heart this time. I'll do whatever it takes to make up for the pain I caused you. I'm just begging you to give me one more chance. I really do love you. Please don't just give me a death sentence. Leo, I'm begging you. We can get married as soon as you're better. We'll build a small home together. Just you and me, no one else. Victoria looked at me with hope in her eyes. But when I heard the word marriage, a nameless fire ignited within me. I slapped her across the face. Pointing to the door, I said, "Get out." Couldn't understand how Victoria still had the nerve to mention marriage to me. But she seemed to ignore my finality. She stood up and forced a smile, though it looked worse than crying. Leo, I know you're angry with me right now and you don't want to see me, but don't let it affect your health. I'll go home first and pack you some clean clothes. You get some more rest. I'll bring you dinner later. With that, Victoria turned and left the room, her retreating figure looking like she was fleeing in panic. After Victoria left, Olivia came back in. She didn't ask what happened between us. She just casually asked what I wanted to eat, mentioning that she'd already arranged for her family's cook to prepare a patient-friendly meal and some nutritious soup. I was grateful for Olivia's thoughtfulness. After all, I didn't even know how to begin explaining what happened with Victoria. But one thing was certain. I was done with her. I just called our old professor and told him I had an urgent business trip come up, so we won't be able to visit him and his wife tonight. Olivia's words reminded me that we were originally supposed to visit our professor after my business meeting. As luck would have it, Olivia was actually the client for my latest project. When I learned the project was a collaboration with her new energy tech company, I volunteered to take the lead. When Olivia found out I was in charge, she, the CEO, insisted on being part of the negotiations. We had set a time and place for today to finalize the contract details. But I never showed up, and my phone was off. Olivia knows me. I'm never late. She learned I'd left my office an hour before the meeting, which meant I should have already been there. Her intuition told her something was wrong, so she immediately sent people to find me. Olivia, thank you. I was so grateful to her. Grateful that she hadn't told our professor about my condition. Grateful that she was the first to realize I was missing and rushed to save me. Olivia reached out and ruffled my hair. If you want to thank me, you can get better soon and treat me to dinner. I nodded emphatically. Olivia had to go back to the office to handle some urgent matters. Before she left, she handed me a gaming console and a tablet she'd gotten from somewhere. Play some games or watch a show if you get bored. I'll be back as soon as I'm done with work. Stay put and don't run off. Call me or a doctor if you need anything. Listening to Olivia's motherly nagging, I found it strangely funny. Olivia, I'm not a kid. If you keep fussing like this, you'll turn into a real nagging mom. Olivia just smiled gently. In my heart, you'll always be that sweet kid. I felt my face flush, finding her words a little odd. Seeing me burrow my head under the covers, Olivia let out a quiet sigh. After Olivia left, an unwelcome visitor arrived. Victoria's mother walked into the room, carrying a designer handbag and wearing high heels. The glamorous socialite looked completely out of place in the standard hospital room. Mrs. Vance scanned the room with disgust, her eyes finally landing on my face. So you're the man Victoria's been keeping on the side? Though it was a question, her tone was one of certainty. The moment she opened her mouth, I knew that even if the elevator incident hadn't happened, I would have had to reevaluate my relationship with Victoria. There was no need to be polite to someone who insulted me from the get-go. Who are you? If you're in the wrong room, please leave. Mrs. Vance was taken aback. She clearly hadn't expected this kind of attitude from me. Her brow furrowed in displeasure. Just as I thought. From some backwater family with no manners at all. Mrs. Vance sat down on the sofa herself, the disdain on her face practically overflowing. I wasn't one to take things lying down. Excuse me, ma'am, but who's the one with no manners here? A stranger barges into my hospital room, doesn't even introduce herself, and has the audacity to say others have no manners? It was probably the first time anyone had ever spoken to her like that. She slammed her hand on the table in a rage. I'm Victoria Vance's mother. And who are you calling ma'am? Do I look like some ordinary ma'am to you? Where did this country bumpkin come from? Absolutely no respect. Are these people out of their minds? She's the one who came here looking for trouble, insulting me first. And then she gets hysterical when I fight back. Suddenly, I found the whole thing utterly pointless. Mrs. Vance, if you have something to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush, please. Every word I said seemed to catch her by surprise. She probably thought that once I knew who she was, I would be respectful, even fawning. But my reaction completely derailed her plan. She was frustrated that she couldn't deliver her prepared speech. I ignored her. Since I'd already decided to break up with Victoria, there was no need to maintain a good image in front of her family. Mrs. Vance took a few deep breaths, transforming back into the poised, elegant socialite. I heard about what happened today from Cody. I raised an eyebrow, unsure of her intentions. She didn't beat around the bush this time. You're not good enough for Victoria. Our family will never allow Victoria to marry you. She and Cody are the ones who are truly compatible from families of equal standing. I know a boy from a small-town family like yours wouldn't want to let go of an heiress like Victoria. You've been with her for 5 years, haven't you? Name your price. We won't be stingy in meeting your demands. But if you insist on trying to climb the social ladder and refuse to let go, I think you'll come to regret it. To that, I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Mrs. Vance didn't know what I was laughing at. Before she could ask, I picked up my phone and deleted the video of my last words that I'd recorded for my parents. Then I called my dad and put him on speaker. My dad's gentle, loving voice filled my heart. Son, you miss your old man? Hearing his voice, I suddenly wanted to cry. I fought back the tears, trying to keep my voice steady. Dad, I miss you. So much. When I was trapped in the elevator, I didn't dare call my parents. I didn't want them to worry about me from thousands of miles away, helpless to do anything. I was afraid of making them anxious, tense, and scared. Thank God. My dad seemed to sense something was off, but he didn't press. My dear son, if you miss mom and dad, just come home and spend some time with us. You know we're always waiting for you to come back. I wiped a tear from the corner of my eye and nodded, saying I would. Then I asked him, Dad, if I were to get married, what kind of person should I look for? Ever since my dad found out who Victoria was, he'd never been optimistic about our relationship. But he never said anything, letting me forge my own path. No matter what, he and my mom were always there, silently supporting me. Hearing my question now, he probably just assumed Victoria and I had broken up. He was worried I might just find someone random to marry to fend off the pressure. My dad spoke to me earnestly. Leo, marriage is a big deal. It's one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. I hope your spouse is someone you like, someone you love, not just someone you marry for the sake of getting married. All I've ever wanted is for you to be happy, Leo. If getting married won't make you happy, then it's perfectly fine not to get married at all. After hanging up, I clutched my phone tightly. I really wanted to go back home and hug my dad right then. I wiped my tears and looked at Mrs. Vance with a steady gaze. She was confused, unable to understand what I was doing. I just told her coolly, Victoria isn't the only one with a mother. I have a father. Mrs. Vance, I'm sure you heard my dad. All he wants is for me to be happy. And I'm telling you right now, Victoria is not someone who can make me happy. So you can stop wasting your efforts on me. Even us small-town folks have our principles. We have no interest in climbing social ladders, especially into an arrogant family like yours. We can't afford to offend you, but we can certainly stay away. Now, would you please get out? Mrs. Vance was used to being the center of attention. It was the first time anyone had ever pointed a finger at her and called her arrogant. To even look down on the Vance family? I pressed the call button by the bed and had a nurse escort Mrs. Vance out, cutting off the annoying words that were about to spill from her mouth. That evening, when Olivia came, I insisted on being discharged. She couldn't talk me out of it, so she helped me pack and took me to my best friend's place. There was no reason to go back to the home I shared with Victoria. We had just left when Victoria arrived. But when she walked in, holding a thermos, and saw a nurse tidying up the empty bed. She was dumbfounded. She immediately took out her phone to call me. I rejected her calls several times, so she switched to texting. Leo, where are you? I made you some chicken soup. I know you're still mad at me, but you're not well enough to be running around. Please come back. Then, thinking I might have gone home, she rushed back there. Standing downstairs, she saw that the warm light in our apartment window wasn't on. Victoria's heart sank. The thermos she was holding slipped from her hand and crashed to the ground. The chicken soup she had spent over 3 hours simmering spilled all over the pavement, just like a love that could never go back to the way it was. When my best friend, Jax, got back from his business trip, I had already been staying at his place for several days. I had briefly told him over the phone that I had broken up with my girlfriend. The moment he got back, he grabbed me and interrogated me for the details. When he heard the full story of what happened in the elevator, he was so angry he wanted to go find Victoria and settle the score right then and there. Damn, that bitch. I can't believe I was so blind I actually said she was a good person. I'm so pissed. And that shameless, manipulative bastard, pulling a stunt like that to force a proposal. The Vance family knew she had a boyfriend and still set her up with someone else. That whole family is trash. Bro, listen to me. That scumbag Victoria doesn't deserve you. I'll introduce you to 10, 20 gorgeous women, all of them 100 times better than her. I put my head in my hands. My friend could be a bit much. Thanks, man. But I'm not really looking to start a new relationship right now. Jax wouldn't take no for an answer. He immediately dragged me downstairs, insistent on taking me out to meet some girls. But we were blocked by Victoria at the entrance. The second Jax saw her, he rolled up his sleeves and looked ready to throw a punch. I quickly held him back, earning myself several glares that screamed, "You're hopeless. Dude, calm down. Look at her. She looks like she couldn't even take one punch from you. Let's not give her a reason to play the victim, okay?" Jax finally noticed Victoria's state. Her face was ghost white. She wore no makeup, and she looked utterly haggard. She looked so frail, as if a strong gust of wind could knock her over. Leo, can we please talk? I didn't want to talk to her. I grabbed Jax and turned to go back upstairs. But it was like Victoria was possessed. She started showing up there every single day. She looked completely disheveled, like a victim who had been used and abandoned. Because of her, Jax and I started getting pointed looks and whispers from the neighbors in our building. It was incredibly annoying. In the coffee shop, I took a sip of my coffee, my eyes gazing out at the bustling street. Victoria's face was etched with pain. Is there really no going back? 5 years, Leo. 5 years of our lives and you can just throw it all away? Her voice broke as she spoke. I found it laughable. But in 5 years, you never planned on marrying me, did you? Victoria, so you do remember it's been 5 years. Victoria shook her head. That's not it, Leo. I was trying to convince my family, it's just that your parents never budged, right? I finished her sentence for her. Isn't this better for everyone? Now you don't have to be torn between two worlds. Let's just part on good terms, Victoria. But Victoria fell to her knees in front of me, grabbing my hand. No, Leo, I don't want this. Please don't give me a death sentence. Give me one last chance. I know I was wrong. This was the first time I had ever seen Victoria cry. This whole time without you, my heart has felt empty. If I have to live the rest of my life without you, Leo, I can't even imagine it. Let's get married right now. It doesn't matter if they don't approve. I don't need the Vance family. Leo, don't leave me. Victoria's eyes were bloodshot as she looked at me, pleading. I just stared at that face, the face I had loved for 5 years, as silent tears streamed down my own cheeks. There was no going back. There really was no going back. Victoria knew me. Deep down, she also knew that the fate of our relationship was sealed the moment she saw me outside that elevator. Victoria let out a soft, pained sob. She didn't care about the stares from others in the coffee shop. If she couldn't win me back now, she would regret it for the rest of her life. She hugged me tightly, as if trying to merge me into her body to give me no chance to leave. I closed my eyes, letting myself feel her embrace one last time. When Victoria felt me stop struggling, that I wasn't pushing her away, she thought I had given in. Just as she was about to breathe a sigh of relief, she heard the words that sent her straight back to hell. Victoria, in the elevator, when Cody asked if you would marry him after you got out, that phone call I made, that was your last chance. You didn't answer. Victoria felt the blood drain from her face. Her mind flashed back to Cody, crying and asking her to marry him if he survived. My call had come in right then. Why hadn't she answered it? Her mind went blank. Yeah, why hadn't she answered? Long after I was gone, Victoria remained frozen in the same position. She kept thinking, why did she ignore my calls? Again and again. But no matter how long she thought, she couldn't come up with a reason. I took a 2-week vacation. Between my annual leave and accumulated overtime, I still had days left over. I went back to my hometown and, under my parents' care, became that carefree little boy again. My parents have always been my pride. My father is the dean of students at the local high school, and my mother is an attending physician at the county hospital. They've spent their lives educating students and healing the sick. In my eyes, they are larger-than-life figures. Maybe to the wealthy, we're just a small-town family. But so what? We don't steal or cheat. To achieve your dreams through your own hard work is a noble thing. My parents didn't ask about Victoria, nor did they pressure me about what I should be doing at my age. During my time at home, I brought my mom lunch every day. In the evenings, I'd cook dinner and wait for my parents to come home so we could eat together. I wished I could be a mama's boy and a daddy's boy forever. But reality had a way of reminding me it was time to get back to the grind. Olivia was that reality. When she pulled up to my building, I was shocked. I thought she was joking when she said she wanted to visit my parents. But she actually came. Watching her pull health supplements, cigarettes, and liquor from her trunk, I didn't know how to react. At the dinner table, my mom kept piling food onto Olivia's plate, overwhelmingly enthusiastic. It wasn't until I was back in Olivia's car, on the road back to the city, that I shot her a glare. Olivia, I don't have to be back at work until the day after tomorrow. The implication being, I didn't want to go back so soon. Olivia kept one hand on the steering wheel and used the other to ruffle my hair. You little heartless thing. We haven't seen each other in 2 weeks, and you don't miss me? Because I've missed you so much, Leo. Olivia's words had a kind of bewitching magic that made my heart race. It wasn't that I didn't understand her feelings for me. It's just, Olivia seemed to sense my unease and spoke again. Leo, don't feel pressured. I've waited this many years, a little longer won't make a difference. I just want you to be happy, Leo. No more sadness. Okay? 1 year later, Jax got some gossip from God knows where and whispered it to me, gloating. I heard Victoria was forced to marry Cody, but they fight constantly. A small fight every day, a huge one every 3 days. They were either fighting at home or at the office, giving the Vance family a massive headache. A few days ago, it got physical. Cody threw an ashtray at Victoria, grazing her forehead. Her mother, furious, rushed over and slapped Cody. Cody, being the spoiled brat he is, had never been treated like that and started fighting with his mother-in-law. Victoria just stood there, watching them brawl with a numb expression. One was a husband she didn't love. The other was the mother who forced her to marry him. Victoria had never imagined her life would turn out so badly. Leo, I miss you so much. Victoria left the house that felt like a war zone. She drove aimlessly, and before she knew it, she was back at my apartment building. Victoria sat in her car, chain-smoking. After what felt like an eternity, night fell, and I still hadn't come home. Maybe I was working late. Just as she was wondering if I was taking care of myself, she saw me walking toward the building. A flicker of joy lit up in Victoria's heart. She was about to open her car door, but then she saw the slender figure behind me. I was walking ahead, saying something, and the woman behind me was smiling. Fondly. The atmosphere between us was relaxed and harmonious. It was the kind of beautiful moment she used to have with me, every second of every day. But now, she watched as the woman straightened my slightly messy hair and naturally took the bag from my hand. They went inside together and didn't come back out. The meaning was obvious. Victoria stayed downstairs until the middle of the night, refusing to leave. Cody kept calling her, but she didn't answer a single call. Finally, the family butler called. Her mother had fainted from anger and been taken to the hospital. Only then did Victoria drive away. But by the time she got to the hospital, her mother was already awake. She was trashing the room, hysterically repeating, "A disgrace to the family. What a disgrace." Victoria stood numbly in the doorway and murmured along with her, "Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be like this, was it?"